いつか愛になるその日まで飲み込んできた悲しみの全てが僕を形作ったうごめき出したそして浮いてきたんだろう呼吸と同じように一つ一つ重ねてきたんだこの手形の数えきれない消えなくなった傷跡が僕の明かした印と向かい合ったの今日も刻んで
And no, he's not boundless, but the verse does scale pretty high. Alrighty everybody, let's start this video. So if you can tell by the thumbnail, if it wasn't as misleading as most people thought, I'm not saying he's boundless, but I am saying that the cosmology scale is high. But before we start the actual video, I'd like to introduce a guest star, a collab, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey guys, your boy Hot B. Glad to be here.
Yes, and it's like, thank you again for joining the channel. You know, he's our natural Dragon Ball, star, and we had to have him on the channel if we were going to go over any Dragon Ball contest. So, basically, we're going to be scaling the Dragon Ball cosmology similar to how I did in my Bleach video. But in this video, we're actually going over two metas, and the first meta, Hot Shot, would be, he helped me out. I'm calling it the inverse meta, and then we have the extraverse meta. Anyway, so to start it off, so you got anything to say about yourself before we start the video?
Just letting you guys know to talk about Dragon Ball content and comics, but if you're interested in that, come to the channel.
Alrighty, so first thing to understand is that the mortal realm in Dragon Ball is actually stated to be a hyperspace quite a few amount of times. If you don't know what a hyperspace is actually either 4 to 5D. Most prominently that the non-observable part of a hyperspace is the 5th dimensional part, and it would only make sense for that the universe in the mortal realm would be the 5th dimensional, since it's the part of there's higher planes and other higher universes, so it makes sense for it to be the 5th dimensional, as well as there's other infinite size realms within inside the mortal realm. Like, would you like to what would you say about that?
I think it's very interesting is that the mortal realm is supposed to be higher dimensional, supposed to be a lot higher tier, it's supposed to be a lot more complex for us as the readers to understand, and people in Dragon Ball to understand. They're not supposed to comprehend it.
Not to mention that even just the mortal realm, at least the observable part, has been stated to be infinite quite a few amount of times, as well as there's just even other things, like even the galaxies themselves are infinitely achieved from each other, as well as even realms like the demon realm is within inside the mortal realm, and it's just vastly bigger than the mortal realm. So it really speaks in volume just that there's these infinite structures inside the mortal realm, so it just more solidifies the fact that the hyperspace making the mortal realm actually 5th dimensional. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I think 5th dimension is very consistent.
And then we get on to more higher parts. Before we grab onto that, I do want to address one fact. So people would try to say the fact that in Dragon Ball Super manga, it was stated that there is an edge to the universe, meaning that if there's an edge to something, it cannot be infinite, so it's not infinite universe. This is just wrong, because even in most fiction, there can be a depicted edge. For example, in DC Comics, there's the Source Wall. Isn't that the depicted edge of the universe in the DC?
Yeah, and there's other more realms that are higher in the source world, but that's a general set.
Yeah, so even in most of the time in fiction, there can be depicted edges of the universe, but that doesn't really contradict anything, because we have other theories like set theories that can have other levels of infinity of each other. Not to mention, there's a really good video I'll be linking right now. I recommend you go watch it. In the description, it talks about how infinity can have a mathematical edge, and also that could literally just be the observable part, could be the part what they know they can see, but then there's the other infinite structures they have, and also it would be just blatantly contradicting all the many statements we have compared to just Bulma, who, if we're being honest, the most knowledge she has is just traveling to Namek and back. Anyway, so with that out of the way, so basically the mortal realm is pretty consistently at the 5D, making it a high multiversal plus size realm. But then we get on to the Kaioshin realm, or the cosmos, the one where all the Kais, the gods, live. Now it's actually stated that it actually transcends the mortal realm, making it actually another higher dimensional structure, not on just one occasion, but on multiple occasions. So it's just really, not even just that, even the Kais themselves have been stated, like for example in the Goku Black art, that they are on a higher plane of existence, which there's just so much to like go into, make that other world or the Kai realm is just on a higher plane of existence. Would you agree?
Yeah, I agree. They definitely depict it as on a higher plane, transcendental.
Like, not even just the realm itself, but even the gods themselves, like the Kais, are even depicted as being a higher dimensional beings. With that in text, it would also make the other world a 6-dimensional or low complex multiversal sized realm. And then that would just be like the internal part of the macrocosm, because the Dragon Ball universe, each universe consists of a macrocosm being a space with having multiple universal sized structures in it. Now, with that all being the macrocosm, that would mean the actual macrocosm itself, the extra encompassing force, would logically be on the higher plane because it contains the space-time and such of these other higher dimensional structures. It would at least make the macrocosm, which is the extra encompassing force, an even higher plane, making a Dragon Ball Z macrocosm a 7th dimensional or complex multiversal structure. If you have any contentions with that?
No, I would say that I agree, and I think that's more consistent with the scaling and what the narrative is trying to tell you, and all the extra material is trying to tell you in Dragon Ball Super.
And then that would, now we're not just going over like a one macrocosm cosmology, we're trying to brief over the entire cosmology of the entire Dragon Ball Z universe. That would even include the world of Void. Now, I will be handing this over to Hotshot since he's very skilled when it comes to this, particular realm itself.
Yep, so let's get into it. So the world of Void it's created by like the Grand Priest. It's supposed to represent like a higher dimension. So I believe in episode 111, it stated that Jiren and Hit are having this extra dimensional fight, which shows consistency of how Crafty talked about the 5D, 6D, and 7D scaling. So this should mean the world of Void is a lot higher dimension than the macrocosm, because the Grand Priest is making this realm or dimension to be able to withstand like Jiren, Hit, UI Goku, God of Destruction Topo, Vegeta, and Ultra Instinct form is stated to be like a transcendent limit. So this means like when Goku goes into Ultra Instinct and Jiren, they're shaking this world of Void. Like it took Goku to have a transcendent amp to shake this world of Void, so this would up the scaling to definitely in that 8D complex multiverse level, maybe even higher.
Yes, potentially it could be even way higher, because mind you, shaking something is in no way comparable to the fact of actually affecting or destroy it. But that would be just kind of funny to think that it took Goku to literally transcend like a transcendent limit break, which wasn't stated in verse, it was stated actually in a narration as even the guide of the actual episode itself, just to shake this realm, which is just, like you said, further solidifies it being higher dimensional than the macrocosm itself, or making it at least an 8th dimensional type realm or complex multiversal. Anyway, with all you said with agreeing with how the world of Void is actually 8-dimensional, that could easily make the Dragon Ball Z cosmology an 8th dimensional structure, or making it complex multiversal, and anyone that can affect or destroy this actually being on that level. And before I go over the extraversal meta, would you like to say anything about yourself or your channel, or just in general before we see you out?
I'll say if you guys like Dragon Ball and like I said comics, you should definitely come to me. I talk a lot about that. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed my time on the video, and would love to continue collabing with Crafty in the future. Y'all have a good day.
Yep, and remember Hotshot AB, his channel will be linked in the description. And yeah, so let's move over to the extraversal meta. Alright, now moving on to the extraverse meta. Now be sure to go subscribe to Hotshot AB's channel, because he's a really good scaler in both comic book and Dragon Ball. But let's get on to this. So something to understand, that was actually stated that the other world, it doesn't have the concept of time. Now time and space can exist without each other. They are a linked duality, meaning one cannot exist without the other, and if And if the concept of time doesn't exist there, that would also mean the concept of space doesn't exist there. And it's also, supported by the fact that it's been stated many times to be a non-corporeal world, and that the mortal realm is the corporeal world, right? Corporeal meaning it has no relations to time or having no relation to physicality. With that aligned, you could easily argue that the other world is just beyond said concepts, and it operates without them, meaning that the other world could potentially be outerversal just based off that. But if you think that's too shaky for you, and you can maybe argue against it, well, the fact that it's just stated in the Data book that the other world is a metaphysical reality. It's a reality separate from ours on the most metaphysical levels, metaphysics being principles beyond concepts of space and time, making it also outer. Now, it's just kind of funny, people use this scan to further support that it being a higher dimension, but they totally gloss over the fact that it's just stated it's metaphysical. With that aligned, that would even make that the macrocosm, or just not let alone the macrocosm, but the other world a outer versal sized realm, and when including the actual macrocosm, which would be the extra encompassing force existing hovering over its space-time and other realms, that would logically make it an even higher plane, like we discussed in the first portion of this video. And then we have the world of void, which is just depicted as an even higher realm compared to the macrocosm, being where you need transcendent limits to breaks to even just shake the realm. That's how much power is needed to barely affect it. It really just speaks in volumes just how big the cosmology is. And some food for thought, just a battle of gods, Goku and Beerus clashing could even destroy the macrocosm, meaning their clash would actually be a outer to high outerversal sized clash. So it really just speaks in volumes how big and powerful the verse is. And yeah, with that out of the way, there's really nothing other to go over. That would easily make the Dragon Ball cosmology outer to high outer. And yeah, that'll be all. Don't forget to go subscribe to Hotshot AB, and don't forget to subscribe to me, of course. Like, comment, subscribe. And yes, I will be making a Goku video soon. Might as well. It's not going to be that long, obviously, if you can see from this video, right? Anyway, yeah, that'll be all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, like I said like 20 times, and join the Discord in the link in the description. And that'll be all. Mr. Crafty